With the Juan Soto free agency rumors heating up, there's been an analyst believing that all of this is a play to get Juan Soto back to the New York Yankees, while teams such as the New York Mets and even the Boston Red Sox are being used to drive up the price for Juan Soto to return to New York for as much money as possible, and that Soto wants to stay with the New York Yankees. And it honestly makes a ton of sense, and we're going to break this down. So what's up, guys? Welcome back to Yankees Digest. It's Chris here. And guys, real quick, make sure to subscribe to the channel. It helps us out a ton. 16% of viewers are subscribed to the channel. Let's get those numbers up. You guys have been killing it recently, but let's jump into it. Guys, it has been an interesting time to be a Yankee fan with all the Juan Soto stuff going down. And these reports, all the news, the YouTube videos that I won't stop making. Look, none of this is going to stop until Juan Soto makes his decision on where he's going. And that will probably happen in the fairly near future. Probably within the next 2 weeks, we are going to know what team Juan Soto is going to spend effectively the rest of his career on. And it's really between the New York Yankees and the New York Mets, while teams like the Boston Red Sox and Toronto Blue Jays seemingly also have interest, but they are farther down the list of possibilities. To me, I've said it before, I'll say it again, I think it's a 50-50 shot between the Yankees or the Mets. I don't really see any other team with any chance to land Juan Soto. I just don't see him going to Toronto, and I don't see him going to the Red Sox, because the Red Sox are bad, and the Blue Jays are not great. And also, the Blue Jays are just not exactly the world's biggest market, and that doesn't make too much sense for Juan Soto. But taking a look into what WFAN Analyst said, who knows a lot about the Mets, and Evan Roberts, he said, Scott Boras has a reason on why he leaks stuff out. I hope I'm wrong about this, and I didn't think this 3 weeks ago, but I'm reacting to what looks like leaks. I think that Juan Soto probably told Scott Boras that he wants to stay with the Yankees, putting the Mets over the way the leaks have portrayed it, and he's putting pressure on Hal Steinbrenner. Now, along with this, he believes that the Red Sox not being in on anybody for years and now popping up as a major threat for Juan Soto. Not Juan Soto, I just can't type, apparently. I did make this last night, guys, so I was a little exhausted by the end of the night. But, look, in all seriousness, with the Red Sox being major players for Juan Soto, it feels like another way to apply pressure on Hal Steinbrenner, and that he thinks that even the Dodgers is another way to leak out a team just to put some pressure on the New York Yankees. Now, frankly, this does make a lot of sense. I mean, considering everything, Juan Soto clearly loved being on the Yankees last season, and obviously he would leave the Yankees if it's just a financial difference. Soto has been pretty adamant that he wants to make as much money as possible while also winning. That screams the Yankees or the Mets. I mean, look, Hal, you guys are the Yankees. Pay them. You're going to be fine. Your life's not going to fall into shambles. You're not going to go broke. But obviously, there's just that ever-running threat of Steve Cohen giving him irrefusable money, which is something that very well could happen. But when it comes down to a guy like a Hal Steinbrenner, literally like Hal Steinbrenner, there's a world to believe that Scott Boras is just using this to put pressure on the New York Yankees and Hal Steinbrenner to drive that price up. I mean, here's the deal. When is the last time the Boston Red Sox and Fenway Sports Group has actually went out there and spent money? I mean, this team literally decimated their entire roster. They didn't pay Mookie Betts the $300 million. They traded him away for a guy who the main part of the package is now Alex Verdugo, who's far gone from the Red Sox and clearly was not worth the trade for Mookie Betts. But look, it's impossible to me. Nowhere in my brain do I see Juan Soto ending up on the Red Sox. I literally think they're below the Blue Jays. I think they're below the Dodgers. Frankly, I think they're probably below the Philadelphia Phillies. If the Phillies called up today and said, hey, whatever the Red Sox offered you, we'll make you more than that. And Juan Soto, or we'll offer you the same thing, and Juan Soto would instantly go there over the Red Sox. It doesn't matter. The Red Sox are not getting Juan Soto. It's just not happening. I truly just can't wrap my head around that. I don't think many people can. It would make sense to use them as leverage. The Red Sox seemingly do want to contend once again, and it makes it seem like they're all in on Juan Soto after not paying anyone ever. But it feels like it's false, and the Red Sox might just be doing this because it's funny to do it to the Yankees and drive up the price, whereas Hal Steinbrenner knows the pressure is on him to bring back Juan Soto. Now, there's pressure on Cohen, but most of the pressure falls on Hal Steinbrenner to retain the guy who the Yankees traded for. And just listening to what Roberts had to say, all this makes sense. I mean, he said, I think there's a number that Steinbrenner doesn't get to, and if Steve Cohen does, Soto and Boras will say, we gave you every shot in the world, but we're gone, essentially going to the Mets. It doesn't mean he can't be a Met, but the feeling that Roberts was getting from what seems like obvious leaks that the Mets are being used. Every time there's a story saying the Mets are in the driver's seat, there's just too many of them. It happens too often, which is a really, really, really good point when you think about it. Now, here's the deal. It feels like every 5 minutes there's another story where if you're just looking at the news and nothing else and you're not really diving too much deeper into it, you'd imagine that the New York Mets are far and away the favorites to land Juan Soto. Yet the New York Yankees are still the favorites to land Soto. Now, the Mets are not far behind them, and at these numbers on BetMGM, and I believe you can only bet on them in Ontario. So, if you live in Ontario, you could go bet on this. I would take that plus money on the Mets any day as someone who likes to gamble, but, I mean, if the Yankees are the favorites, and nothing good has come out about Juan Soto and the Yankees, outside of the fact that Hal Steinbrenner and Juan Soto had a good meeting together, well, it feels like there's just every little detail that comes out about Juan Soto and the Mets. It makes you think, okay, shouldn't the Mets far and away be favorites then? Shouldn't they be minus 200, 250 favorites? Vegas knows what they're doing, and it just, everything culminates to this feeling of, okay, why is there so much stuff about the Mets and Juan Soto? Roberts is right. It's a weird amount. Scott Boras is very smart. He's been doing these top free agent negotiations for a very long time. And you have to think, okay, something's going on here. There's too many leaks about the New York Mets. And it makes you feel like you really look at things with the Yankees still being favorites. It feels like this is a play to get Juan Soto back to the Yankees for as much money as possible. Now, Roberts also said that every leak has put pressure on the Yankees. And does anyone seriously believe the Red Sox are spending high on Juan Soto? They're not spending $700 million on him. The Mets are trying to get him. And that he hopes Cohen offers too much to where the game between Boras and Steinbrenner becomes irrelevant. Here's the thing. That could happen very quickly. That's the one part of this that Scott Boras is probably well aware of also. He could just keep driving up the price and get Juan Soto an unbelievable contract. Now, remember, as his agent, Scott Boras gets a percentage of that money. He wants Soto to take the biggest contract possible also. He's going to do right by Juan Soto. Doing right by his clients is why Scott Boras has been one of the most successful agents in baseball. I mean, he's done the A-Rod stuff. Scott Boras has been around, and he's been the agent of so many high-level players. I mean, A-Rod might be regarded as the greatest free agent of all time back when he signed with the Texas Rangers. So it makes you think, okay, he's playing a game here, isn't he? And there's a world where this game goes too far and Hal's like, I can't give $750 million. I just can't do it. Which, you can, Hal. You absolutely can, but that's a different story for another day. And it makes you just think, okay, honestly, it feels like Soto just wants to be a Yankee. That's probably what's going to happen. You have to imagine Juan Soto wants to stay on the New York Yankees. The New York Mets are not as good as the Yankees. They could get better than them very quickly, and signing Juan Soto away from the Yankees is a massive, massive, massive step in that direction. That might be the straw that breaks the camel's back, but it just feels like Juan Soto wants to be a Yankee at this point. It doesn't mean he's definitely going to go there because it will quickly come down to money, and Steve Cohen can just decide, whoops, $800 million. 15 years. Welcome, Juan Soto. But it's going to take an absurd price for Steve Cohen to do that. We're just going to see if he's got the stones to do it, and I'm very interested to see what happens. So, guys, if you're also interested in seeing, make sure you subscribe to the channel, like this video, turn on post notifications. If you're from America and you're watching this, and I believe, according to our analytics, most people watching this are from New York, enjoy your Thanksgiving, guys. Stay safe. Have a great day. Happy Black Wednesday. Go Yankees.